Welcome to Fayette County Public Library Storytime. Our first story today is Catch That Cookie. It was December, and Marshall's class had heard stories about runaway gingerbread men all week long. Marshall didn't believe a word of it. They can't run for real, he told everybody. No way! Hope you're right, Mrs. Gray said, because we're baking ours today. Marshall gave a nod. He knew he was right. That afternoon, Marshall and his friends poured in the flour, sugar, and some dark, sticky stuff. That's molasses, Marshall told them. Marshall was the mixer, and even when his arms got tired, he kept going with the dough. He couldn't wait to get his cookie. Kudos, Marsh, said Mrs. Gray. You rocked that dough. Marshall gave a nod. He knew he rocked it. Marshall put some good stuff on his gingerbread man, a silver ball belt and 6 eyes. He really liked raisins. His cookie was looking tasty. Mrs. Gray double-checked the oven door once the gingerbread men were safely inside. Locked, she said. When the timer finally went off, Mrs. Gray said to Marshall, "Fearless leader, take us to the kitchen." What do you think they're going to find? But when they looked in the oven, there was nothing inside. They ran away, everybody yelled. Let's get them. Marshall didn't buy it. Look at him. Look, oh. He just doesn't believe all that stuff. They left us a clue, said Mrs. Gray. And their clue says, if you find us, we'll be your snack. But if you can't, we're never coming back. We ran from the oven. We were bored and hot. Now we're hiding in a big black. Henry jumped up. Pot, the big black pot. Inside was another note. Too bad you didn't catch us, 'cause we taste like candy. Now we're on vacation on a beach that's... Turn the page. Sandy, everybody yelled. The sand table. They all started running, everybody but Marshall. He turned that pot over and ran his hand around the inside. He felt something soft and small. A raisin. Marshall put it right in his pocket. At the sand table, Mrs. Gray read the next note. Whoa, she said. Bad handwriting. You didn't find us this time, and a hee-hee-ho. You thought we might be slow, 'cause we're only made of dough. We're very fast cookies, and we also like to brag. See if you can find us. We'll be playing... Tag, said Avery. They can't run, said Marshall. Can so, said Avery. Let's go, said Mrs. Gray. Everybody ran to the gym. Well, everybody but Marshall. Can I see that clue? He asked. The writing was bad. No way it was Mrs. Gray's. The next clue was on the bleachers. We've had a great time and we haven't made a mess. We're very impressed that you're trying your best. If you don't find us this time, the game's all done. You will have lost, and the G-men will have won. That's not a clue, said Henry. They were stuck. They were hungry, and they wanted to win. Everybody huddled. Everybody's here, but look who's here. Let's see what Henry's up to. Or Marshall, sorry. But Marshall sat down considering the evidence, the raisin in his pocket, and the bad handwriting. What if the G-men could run? That's when he saw the silver ball on the gym floor. That was only one place it could have come from. Then he saw the footprints. Suddenly, he sees all these footprints around the gym floor. Look at all those footprints. They were gingerbread footprints, hundreds of them. All over the place. Marshall didn't make a sound. Those guys played hard, he thought. They've gotta be tired. That was it. They're taking a nap, Marshall hollered. Everyone searched, in the bleachers and under the mats. No luck. Had the G-men won? If I needed a nap, thought Marshall, I'd go to bed. There in the doll corner, he yelled. Marshall led the way this time. Oh, Marshall's all into it now. And there were the little gingerbread men, sound asleep in the doll bed. Marshall's guy was right there in the middle, minus an eye and a ball from his belt. He must have been the ringleader. Everyone cheered. They had caught the G-men. Marshall gave his cookie back his eye. You really can run, he said. Apparently he thinks they can hear and talk too. Good sleuthing, said Mrs. Gray. Marshall gave a nod. He knew he had good sleuthing, whatever that was. When Marshall's dad came to pick him up, Marshall kept his G-man close. Not gonna let go of him this time. Dad, Marshall said once they were in the car. Yeah, bud. Lock the doors. Why's that? Said his dad. So my cookie can't get out, said Marshall. They can run for real, you know. You think his dad believes it? Look at his face. I'm not sure his dad believes that. His dad gave a nod. He knew they could run. He knew they could run. They're running everywhere, it looks like. And that's the end of that story. Kind of cute. I like that one.
All right, so now we have another story, and this one's called The Doorbell Ring. All right. Take a look at this picture here. Do you see something that we just talked about? Look at the cookies. I've made some cookies for tea, said Mom. Good, said Victoria and Sam. We're starving. Share them between yourselves, said Ma. I've made plenty. Cool, so if there's a whole bunch of cookies on one plate and there's only 2 kids, they're going to get lots of cookies, aren't they? That's 6 each, said Sam and Victoria. They look as good as Grandma's, said Victoria. They smell as good as Grandma's, said Sam. No one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma. And the doorbell rang. Who's at the door? It was Tom and Hannah from next door. Come on in, said Ma. You can share the cookies. Uh-oh, boys and girls, now there's 4 kids. Can they still have 6 cookies each? Now that's just 3 each, said Sam and Victoria. Wow, they smell as good as your grandma's, said Tom. And they look as good, said Hannah. No one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma. And the doorbell rang. Are there going to be more friends outside? It was Peter and his little brother. Come on in, said Ma. Now you can share the cookies too. Now we've got all these kids sharing the cookies. That's 2 each, said Victoria and Sam. They're as good as your grandma's, said Peter, and smell just as good. Nobody makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma. And the doorbell rang. Who's out there now? It was Joy and Simon with their 4 cousins. Come on in, said Ma. You can share the cookies. How many do they get now, boys and girls? Are you keeping track? That's one each, said Sam and Victoria. They smell as good as your grandma, said Joe, and look just as good, said Simon. No one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma. And the doorbell rang. Oh, if there's more people, are they going to be able to share the cookies? Oh, look, and it rang. Are they answering the door? Doesn't look like it. Should they eat the cookies before they answer the door? Oh dear, said Ma, as the children stared at the cookies on their plates. Perhaps you had better eat them before we open the door. Oh well, we'll wait, said Sam. What a polite little boy to wait. Look, they all have their cookies on their plate. They're all staring at their cookies. Are they going to get to eat them? Let's find out. It was Grandma with an enormous tray of cookies. How nice to have so many friends to share them with, said Grandma. It's a good thing I made a lot. Look at her pan. It is so full of cookies. Now they all can have 3 or 4 at least, huh? No one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma, as the doorbell rang. And that's the end of the story, boys and girls. Who do you think's at the door now? They're going to have to share their cookies? That's such a cute story. That was called The Doorbell Ring. All right, boys and girls, I have a tray of cookies right here. These are Oreos. They're some of my favorites. Now, these cookies are sitting on this plate, aren't they? On is a word that tells us where something is. I want you to look at my tree today. I have some birds, and let's talk about where these birds could be. If I take this dark green bird and put him here, he is above the tree, isn't he? Okay, he could be on top of the tree. Those are words that tell where this bird is. Let's take this dark yellow tree and put him right inside of the branches. Okay, so in between is another positional word. It's telling us where that bird is. Look, if I put him here where he's hiding, and I stick him right there, now what's happened to him? He is behind the tree. Isn't that cool? What about this bright green bird? This is probably something that really could not happen, but what if he went here? What would we say, boys and girls? That bird is, you're right, he is below the tree or beneath the tree. Okay, these are cool words in our English language that help us tell where something is. What about this little red bird? Could he be on the tree? Okay, in the branches? What about this blue bird? Where should we put him? Maybe he could fly over the tree. That's another word that tells us where he is. What about this little bright yellow guy? I'm thinking that maybe he could be in or on. I am sort of thinking that he could be beside the tree. Okay, so those are called positional words, boys and girls. All these birds are on different places in the tree, and that tells us where he is, just like we know that these cookies are on the plate. So I hope you've noticed, boys and girls, that our theme this week is sort of cookies. I think Miss Kim has another treat for us. No pun intended. It's our treat because she's going to read us another book about a treat.
Yeah, well, cookies. You know, the title of this book is Whopper Cake. Cake can also be on a plate. Today is Grandma's birthday, and Granddad has an itchin' to bake a Whopper chocolate cake and traumatize the kitchen. Grandma scolds. Now listen up. Don't make a fuss, you hear? Land sakes, I think your cakes are getting bigger every year. While Grandma runs some errands, Granddad ties his apron tight, props the tattered cookbook up, and sets to do things right. Right odd, that is. Who thought up this recipe? The cake will be too small. If I can't make a Whopper cake, I'll bake no cake at all. That dog's liking this. Granddad grabs a bowl and spoon and makes a frightful clatter. Ingredients go flying as he starts to mix the batter. I'm sure no cook, says Granddad, but it would seem to me 2 cooks of sugar ain't enough. I'll put in 23. 23 pounds, that is. That would be a lot of sugar. I don't even have 23 pounds of sugar in my house. Granddad cries, "This bowl won't do," and scratches at his head. Eureka! I have just the thing. We'll use the pickup bed. Oh my. Go start the old jalopy, boys, and back it in real tight. Grandma's gonna be surprised when she gets home tonight. Oh, look what they're doing. The recipe says 4 fresh eggs. In go 86. Recipe says 2 cups of flour. 10 go in the mix. 10 bags, that is. I need a bigger stirring stick. This spoon is mighty poor. Head down to the fishing boat and fetch me up an oar. What a cake. Look at all that cake batter. Granddad holds the paddle firm and sets himself to mixin'. I'm thinking that old cook stove might not hold this cake we're fixin'. The recipe says 1 pinch salt. Granddad pinches more. Recipe says 1 cup cocoa. In go 24. 24 boxes, that is. Granddad licks the mixin' ore. It tastes just like a dream. But Grandma likes her birthday cake topped off with fresh ice cream. Let's head down to the market, boys, and buy up all they've got. A treat so cold is pleasing on a day so scorching hot. So there goes the truck with all the cake batter in it. Gotta go get some ice cream. The drive to town is mighty warm this day in mid-July. While that sun is blazing down, that cake is raising high. 10 feet high, that is. Driving home, we're followed by a chocolate-scented cloud. And when folks get a whiff of it, there gathers quite a crowd. Wow, no one's ever seen a cake so big and wide and tall. Granddad cries, "Step right up. There's plenty here for all." Everybody pitches in to help us decorate. With shovels, we spread frosting. Then we settle down to wait. Wait to dig in, that is. Oh. We all hide till Grandma comes. And then we yell, "Surprise!" And when she sees that birthday cake, she can't believe her eyes. "All this fuss for me?" she asks. "But why, for heaven's sake?" "Your heart's so big," says Granddad. "You deserve a Whopper cake." Grandma blows her candles out. I've just one wish, I guess. I'll enjoy this Whopper cake. And what do you think her wish was? And you clean up the mess. The Whopper mess, that is.
Wow.
And if you ever want to make a Whopper cake, I have the recipe. Just come to the library. I'll give it to you.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's one big cake,
Yes, it
let me
was.
tell you. Well, we have one more book about a cow that loves cookies. Whenever Farmer feeds the horse, he feeds the horsey hay, of course. The horse just loves to nibble hay. He eats it every single day. Nothing unusual about that, is there? Horses like hay. But the cow loves cookies. There he is. He's been in the cookie jar. Farmer knows what chickens need. He always gives them chicken feed. They scratch and cluck and peck all day. They love their feed. The horse loves hay. But the cow loves cookies. The farmer feeds the geese each morn. He always gives them sweet cracked corn. They honk and flap and their wings. They love the corn that farmer brings. That's pretty normal. Hay for horses, yes indeed. Give those chickens chicken feed. Corn for geese, they love it so. But when it comes to cows, we know that the cow loves cookies. He's got his nose right down in that cookie jar. When farmer feeds the hogs their slop, they love to eat that gooey glop. They oink and snort, they grunt with glee. They eat like pigs, it seems to me. Yep. Making a big mess while they do it, too. Of course, we know the horse loves hay, and chickens love their feed each day. Geese love corn, as all geese should. The pigs think slop is mighty good. But cow would never eat that stuff. You couldn't pay that cow enough because, you know why, boys and girls? The cow loves cookies. Farmer's dog just loves to eat when farmer gives him doggy treats. He gulps and gobbles with delight. He savors every meaty bite. Hay is what the horsey needs. The chickens all eat chicken feed. The geese munch corn, it tastes so fine. The hogs think slop is just divine. The dog adores his doggy treats, but cow would rather eat things sweet. He finds those cookies anywhere they are. So why does the cow love cookies? She and farmer made a deal, and every day they share a meal. Farmer packs a picnic lunch, and when the two sit down to munch, guess what? He takes the cookies from a tin, and cow gives milk to drink with them. Yum, says farmer. Cow says, moo. Cow is happy. Farmer too. They both love milk and cookies. And I'm sure you do too. Am I right? Ah, lots of cookies. But the duck loves quackers. Oh, how silly. Imagine a cow that just loves cookies like that. But you know, there's an interesting thing about this story. The farmer and the cow together like cookies because they can dunk it in the milk and they can do it together. We like doing things together, don't we? We like to get together with our family and our friends, and cow and farmer had a good time with cookies. Well, I think that's pretty cute.
It was.
So anyway, well, whatever your favorite treats are, I hope you get to enjoy some of those today. Yep. This is all we have today for story time. We trust you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.